You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
Was ready to go. Wasted a good share of I didn't waste, but I spent a lot of my weekend getting ready for the radio program. And consequently, sometimes when you're in a new building, we have some issues, and we are working them out. The stream is back on, the radio signal is on, and Victor Davis Hanson is talking about what Donald Trump is doing to the New World Order.
The world is much more in the interest of the United States than just 5 years ago, and most of that is due to the unpredictability of Donald Trump. Trump is written off as someone who is too volatile.
Oh, I think he's very predictable. I think if you mess with him, he's going to kick your rear end.
But that's
pretty predictable.
The art of the deal, unpredictability of his nature. It's more important to see what he's done. Look at Latin America. 5 years ago, the Chinese were controlling through their surrogate company.
Remember when I told you when Donald Trump was elected that freedom and patriotism and faith were going to sweep the globe? Well, it's happening.
Is the entry and exit to Panama. Russia and China were the de facto rulers of Venezuela, the second
we took over the Panama Canal and got rid of the communist leader of Venezuela.
Largest oil reserves in the world.
Yeah.
A slew of communist governments had taken over South America.
Listen to this.
What's happened now? There are no Chinese influencers in Panama. There have been pro-U.S. changes in government in Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Argentina. In other words, the Western Hemisphere is now staunchly pro-U.S.
Who said that was going to happen? Oh, yeah, me.
And copying many of the protocols that we are, such as tough on crime, free market economics, secure borders.
All the things that the Democrats hate here.
They're not sending people out of insane asylums or mental hospitals or prisons into the United States. Russia is not getting sanctioned oil from Venezuela or Iran. None. Look at Europe. 5 years ago, Europe had been jawboned by Donald Trump in his first term to at least spend 2% GDP on defense. 6 nations did so. Now, almost 30 of 32 nations have now all agreed to spend 5%. More importantly, they're re-examining all of the things that weaken Europe. They're going to secure their borders. They're going to start to...
Now all we got to do is kick socialism and communism butt in the United States of America, and it's got to happen. The Democrat Party is imploding. I've got lots of that coming up. Also, Mamdani says he's going to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. The people in power said, oh, please, son, go to Chuck E. Cheese with your mom and have a birthday party. Anyway, we'll get to that very shortly on the show. We would not be celebrating the 250th anniversary of our birth if it weren't for a strong foundation set by our framers. Hamilton built America's financial foundation on the principle of sound, stable money, embodied by the gold standard we abandoned in 1971. Since then, you may have noticed the dollar is not worth as much and your money doesn't go as far as it used to. Maybe you should adopt your own gold standard. Maybe you should adopt the have gold in your portfolio with Birch Gold. I of course, have my money in Birch Gold, and they've been helping Americans solidify their savings with gold for 15 years. They'll help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Do it now. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898. A-plus rating, BBB. Countless five-star ratings, including from this guy, because they have my money. All right? They have my money. I'm not kidding here. All right, text my name, Rob, to the number 989898. That's Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold today. Coming up, the one, the only, the awesome Brigadier General Blaine Holt to talk about what's going on in Iran and around the world. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, two things matter most: that it works and that you can trust it. Jim ran out of Relief Factor twice. Both times his ache, stiffness, and pain came back. Once he restarted again, he says he felt better again. You know something's working when you run out of it. I started taking Relief Factor 6 months ago. I ride 30 miles on a Saturday morning on my mountain bike and lift weights every other day, and I feel great. People like Jim make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us Relief Factor help you tackle your daily aches and pains. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Simply go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. They will do everything they can to help. We hope you'll be sharing your story with us too. 800-4RELIEF or relieffactor.com.
a right to block Hormuz. We got a right to shut it down. Iran's leader is a clown. They're in clear violation. It is safe to assume the bombing will resume. All Iran will see is misery. We will take out power plants. Coral Island we will seize. You'll see it on the news. We got a right to block Hormuz.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's why I switched to Ghost Bed. Helps keep you cool all night, no waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. You get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I got my Ghost Bed about 6 months ago, and it changed my life. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is currently having their 4th of July sale, offering my audience an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson, promo code Carson.
I always accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. With me, there is no in between. State of the Union scored, approval rate, how it has soared. Democrats cannot afford to take me for granted anymore. Inflation's low, employment's high. The Dow Jones, it is headed for the sky.
It's not just losing the military battle, it's losing the political battle inside its own government. Let me introduce you to Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf, the parliament speaker, the IRGC veteran, the man Iran appointed to lead its negotiating team with the United States. Now, for months, the hardliners in Tehran have been screaming that Ghalibaf is a traitor, that anyone who would negotiate with the great Satan is himself satanic. And what was so fascinating is that in the midst of all those threats from the hardliners, Ghalibaf's response was to actually call them out as extremists. He told the Iranian public that these hardliners would destroy Iran if they had their way, that they were basically suicidal.
It sounds like what General Blaine Holt and I have been talking about for a very long time, which is the Iranians, the hardliners, and the others would turn against one another, and hopefully the hardliner driven out of power. Joining us on the Newsmax hotline is said General Blaine Holt, also, by the way, host of a Dangerous Intellectuals podcast. Good morning, General. How are you today, sir?
Good morning. Isn't it so cool that you and I gave everybody the answers to the test questions about a month and a half ago?
Well, this is what I was hoping for, and I think that obviously you have the great experiences giving your life to military service, and I just have Midwestern common sense and a lot of show prep. And I had predicted and hoped that that the Iranian people would be free, and that this regime, after 47 years of absolute terror, would be taken out. And they have certainly been clawing and scratching to try to drag Iran into hell with them, but it looks like things might be turning around here. What are you hearing? Obviously, we got to talk about the 2 service members that were killed and then one other. But what's happening, man? What are you hearing?
Well, let's talk about the service members that were killed, because that's the push-off point. And it's not that we wield violence with emotion. Oh, we got angry, now we're going to wield violence. We do this very professionally. But you can easily see where President Trump's rhythm and his cause and effect strategy with the Iranians has been, if you do something we don't like, we're going to do it back to you times a million.
Yeah.
And that's what happened this weekend.
Wow.
And we hit the IRGC so hard, their leadership, not just their leadership, but we hit their logistics stores, missile stores. We essentially have decimated the IRGC down to a level that the revolution can take them now.
I love it, love it, love it. I saw the IRGC headquarters, that building, like a 10-story building, and we hit them with something from the top, and it looked like, you remember that scene in Independence Day, the movie, when the beam came down and it hit the Empire State Building? That's what the hell it looked like, bro. That's what it looked like. I mean, that top 6 floors of that thing just were on fire in an instant. What did we hit them with, dude?
Yeah, I have to believe that at a minimum would have been a GBU, a gravity-guided bomb, JDAM assembly kit on the back, 2,000-pounder minimum.
Wow. So that building is, I mean, everything in that building, everyone in that building, that building is reduced to rubble. And I noticed also, I had heard that surrounding buildings also were taken out, but wasn't that their logistical headquarters? I mean, this is kind of cutting the heart out of the beast, isn't it?
It was, and right down the street, another one that got fried was their command and control unit, and I guess we tagged a couple of very important generals in that as well.
Gotcha.
The biggest thing for me is that the Iranians were taunting us with propaganda on Saturday to show us in Tabriz all their caverns and caves of endless weapon systems, missiles, drones.
Yeah.
And the next day, all of that cavern system was turned to ash. We absolutely destroyed it all. And we also learned that the HQ-9 air defense system from China is not worth a flip.
Well, that's good news. But so you're saying, because I had seen they had all of these drones in tunnels buried, which is what Islamists like to do. They like to live in tunnels like rats. But you're saying that that's been destroyed or sealed up.
My understanding, well, you could see the Tabriz footage that's out there on social. I don't know if it's still hanging there, but the primary explosions were one thing, but it's the secondary explosions that indicate that the missiles were going up in flames because they were igniting. And it was colossal. I mean, it was just...
Wow.
I would be surprised if there was one Iranian in the country who couldn't see that flame ball. Good gosh.
I know, and it was remarkable. I saw people driving by, a mile away, rolling up their windows because the heat was so unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So how much longer is this going to continue? Obviously, I think it's been 8 or 9 days that we've just been pounding the snot out of them. Donald Trump, I'm assuming there is no negotiating here, and there is only you're done. Surrender. Let the people be free. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, we're going to keep it up, but we're keeping it up for a baton pass. And what I mean by that is there are organized resistance groups in Iran. They are ready. They have their first round of supplies, my sources tell me.
Really?
The Kurds are in the north, and the IRGC has been weakened. This means conditions on the battlefield are set. And so pretty soon we're going to hand that baton off to the Iranian revolution They'll take the rest of the country. We'll provide them with air cover and air power as needed.
Yeah.
And then the new free Iranians, well, they're going to welcome us into that country, and we'll get whatever we need.
Wow, this really is remarkable. I noticed we put the blockade back on. This is costing the Iranian economy $500 million a day. The currency is absolute crap. Inflation is 300+%. I'm assuming the IRGC not being paid anymore. What do you think is going to happen to, and how many do you suppose are still remaining of the IRGC? And what is going to have to happen as the people take over this country, as potentially the son of the Shah returns? Do you also predict that happening?
I don't know. If they want Pahlavi in as their leader, I would just hope that they're the ones that pick that
Yeah.
we're not stupid enough to repeat our historical mistakes on picking, air quotes, our guy. And let's remember, Pahlavi is a descendant of what is the foundation of Western intelligence services installing the Shah and the Shah's family. That's back in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
And then in 52, the new Shah comes in, and then he doesn't play ball with British Petroleum, and then the Ayatollahs come in under Western intelligence services as well. So there's that. Let them determine their own leader. Maybe it's a Paul Revere or a Thomas Paine of their own who's distinguishing himself in their circles. The other thing is, I think Iran has a better day coming to it, but we're going to decrement the IRGC and the lethality of it while we open up the straits once and for all. And then there's the adversary we haven't talked about, Rob, and that's Lloyd's of London and the City of London Banking Consortium that's been on both sides of this war forever. We're busting that monopoly up to high hell. And you really will have, if you don't like $80 a barrel, we'll get used to $40 a barrel, because that's where that trend line goes.
Well, I want to discuss this a little bit further. That was exactly where I was going to go next, but I want to take a break. More with Brigadier General Blaine Holt. Also, by the way, DangerousIntellectuals.com for his great podcast. DangerousIntellectuals.com. Definitely want to listen every single week. We're going to take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
680 WCVM.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is perhaps planning to visit New York for the UN General Assembly. You pledged during your campaign and after you won to order his arrest to comply with the International Criminal Court warrant. What will happen if he comes in September?
Look, I believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. He's a war criminal who has been charged by the International Criminal Court. And what you will find is that is an opinion that is held by many purely because of what his actions have wrought over these last many years. I've also said that I will follow the laws that we have here in New York City because I believe that there's an importance in following the law as a leader who presides over our city, and that's something that I plan to do.
So that is Zohran Mamdani. I'm thinking the root of all of his problems is he has a very small manhood. That's just me personally. There's something he's compensating for, but clearly he thinks he's a lot more important and bigger than he really is, because he says he's going to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu when he comes to the United States, which I find to be laughable. I want to ask Brigadier General Blaine Holt, what happens if this little dipweed decides he thinks he can arrest Benjamin Netanyahu? Who's going to actually try to do it, and what are the repercussions?
Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, have him do it. Have him do it. Have him do it.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Don't tease me like that. Don't wave red meat in front of my face. I wonder if anybody has asked Mamdani if he knows that the United States has not signed into the incredibly fraudulent International Criminal Court.
Yes.
This is more ridiculous than ridiculous, and maybe there are some property owners in New York who've had their stuff taken away from them that would like to see Mamdani indicted by a New York criminal court.
Oh, my God. I got to tell you, this guy is a mess right now. I'm reading all sorts of stories out of New York City. There is a new Skid Row 12 blocks long. There is now a several blocks long area where it's an open-air drug market, prescription drugs they're bringing in from out of the country and selling them in street carts like they're hot dogs, for God's sake. And then also on top of all of this, after all of the promises of lower rents have reached an all-time high in New York City. I think he'd be better off focusing on the problems in New York City, but I have a feeling he's going to, he's going down in a blaze of glory.
He is part of the problem in New York City. He is creating more divisiveness and spending money that was intended to patch that city together than anybody. Look, why did New York not learn their lesson after their foibles with de Blasio? Oh, maybe they have their own election integrity problems. Someone ought to look into that.
Well, it's just a very small percentage of people doing the voting there. They're very highly motivated, paid for, I'm assuming, with money from people like Neville Singham, the Chinese Communist Party, and they're winning with very few votes, but they're getting in with a very small minority. This is where the Democrat Socialists are winning in some of these elections. It's being rejected. It will be rejected. Hell, even Bill Maher says, I'm not going to be a Democrat communist and live in this country. I'll vote for J.D. Vance before that happens. But Mamdani is, I think we are in the middle of a battle here. Let me ask you this, General, because these idiots are saying they're going to get rid of the Senate. Sure. They're going to get rid of, Linda Sarsour says we're going to get rid of the Declaration of Independence. They're saying they're going to get rid of how we elect the president we chosen by Congress. The only way that could happen, sir, would be an insurrection, an overthrow of the government, some sort of a war. So why don't we look at these people and say you are fomenting insurrection and you should be removed from the country. You should be indicted for sedition. What are your thoughts on all of this?
I agree, but I feel strongly about it both ways. Such a general officer answer to give. But the reason I do is because on the one side, you could say, okay, you guys are threatening the Constitution of the United States. We're locking you up because you're a clear and present danger. That's easy. However, isn't it more helpful that these little communists and Bolsheviks and apparatchiks are showing themselves to be who they really are
Yeah.
and scaring the living crap out of all of these real Democrats.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Doesn't that really divide their party and turn it into an ash heap? I think it does, and maybe that's a more useful tack here.
That's an interesting take, and I've said that the Democrat Party is doing a death spiral into hell. I just didn't predict it would be as fast. I mean, it's been accelerated, and in this fashion.
Stomping on the gas pedal.
Oh, dude, unbelievable. Let's go back to Iran. The Straits of Hormuz, Lloyd's of London, all of the moneymakers around the world who have been in control of that area, who've controlled the flow of oil, etc. How is the United States taking over the Strait of Hormuz and taking down Iran's terror networks around the world and its influence, working with China, Venezuela, and Russia, impacting the world economy and how these people have done business for the last 60 years?
So the world economy has got a lot of reasons to be shuddering, but the Straits of Hormuz and the future prices of oil is not one of them. Consumer demand reduction is because consumers around the world are just spent from all these wars, all the worldwide money printing, and the globalists have just printed us out of our own currencies and our homes and everything else. And so we're going to see some rough economic times ahead. We're just not, but if there's going to be a ray of hope, it's going to be that Lloyd's of London will never have a death grip again on the choke points that the United States uses for oil, and that oil will be more free and abundant. And I do know that when natural resources are free and abundant, or very low priced and abundant, the chance of warfare goes down dramatically.
How is this going to change the Middle East, the face of the Middle East? Less than a minute here, for the first time in a millennia.
Yeah, so you got everybody tracking towards this multinational, business-oriented economic juggernaut called the Abraham Accords. And we don't care what your religion is, your ethnicity, your background, where you come from. You've got more invested in creating and building things than destroying things and just destroying each other.
I think it's going to be amazing. We are living in historic times, and you and I, and many like us, lived to see the millennium. And now we are seeing millennial change, or even more, in the Middle East. And I'm grateful that we are witnessing this. It's just the throes of it are very, are troubling and frightening at times. But I know the good is going to win. General Blaine Holt, tell us about your podcast, where to find it in this week's episode.
DangerousIntellectuals.com. We're going to talk about cognitive liberty. One of the wars in the fifth-generation warfare environment is to infuse you with thoughts that you think are yours. I'll leave it at that. And then I wrote an article on Newsmax.com to accompany that, just got released about an hour ago.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon. I appreciate you. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Oh.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too.
No, I see.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too.
It's true. Millions of Americans agree with President Trump, and they're switching to Newsmax. They're watching great shows with
Guys, I had a
Hi, folks.
stuff
I'm
I needed
Alan
to do
Ellis.
here.
We talk about fishing,
I apologize.
hunting, and the great.
I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff together. Please forgive me. We're running a little bit late today. I will be ready for the streamers next hour. I just had to do a couple of things here. So, anyway, good. How many technical? How come so many technical difficulties? I moved the entire studio into the heart of D.C. And I had to do it all mostly myself. So that's why. But we're cool now. All right.
thoughts here on Mamdani threatening to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he comes to the U.S.?
It's such a tough guy to say that kind of thing. He has no way to do that. Of course, obviously, America's not even part of that corrupt court. And so he's just a clown to even say that. So he won't try that. And I'll just sit down and focus on the problems that they have in New York. That's really not your purview. You and I know that. Sit down.
Yeah, it is utterly ridiculous for him to think, to whip it out. He decided he'd whip it out. He's got a little bitty figurative manhood, and he thought, I'll arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. How about focus on the crap hole that you're making New York City into? I know we've been a little heavy on the Stephen Turley, but I want you to listen to Stephen Turley with regard to where rents are right now, and Zohran Mamdani said he was going to freeze them.
You see, Mamdani ran for mayor on one central promise above all others: affordability. He was going to make New York City livable again for working people. He was going to stick it to the rich. He was going to tax the billionaires, freeze the rent, build the affordable housing. It was a simple, seductive pitch. And New Yorkers, they bought it.
No.
So how's it working out for them? According to a new report from the Corcoran Group, one of the most respected real estate brokerage firms in the country, the median rent in Manhattan has risen under Mamdani to an all-time high of nearly $5,200.
$5,200 rent, and for like a little studio, $4,000 depending on where you are, and wealth is leaving.
But it gets worse, because while rents were soaring, the wealth was walking out the door. Back in April, on tax day, Mamdani filmed himself outside Citadel CEO Ken Griffin's $100 million penthouse to announce a new pied-à-terre tax on luxury properties. Well, guess what Griffin's response to that was? What do you think he did? He scaled back New York City jobs.
Yeah, New York City and Seattle are both bleeding jobs. Mike Waltz, U.S. ambassador, former U.S. present one, says that Mamdani isn't going to arrest Netanyahu. He says the U.S. is not party to the Rome Statute that underlies the ICC. The UN headquarters agreement grants diplomatic protections up to visiting heads of government. Heads of state immunity applies, and federal authority trumps any local mayor's wishes. This is pure political theater, and he really ought to focus on running New York. But you see, he's not here to run New York. He's here to spread Islamism and an Iranian revolution in New York City, and then use that to parlay into some sort of a Democrat socialist takeover of the Democrat Party, all of which is happening, but a lot of pushback happening. We've got lots and lots of material on that. We got a little bit behind at the beginning of the show from technical difficulties, but everything is rolling. We've got so much to get to, including this El Sayed guy running in Michigan. He is in all sorts of hot water. He's getting his clock cleaned like Graham Plattner was. All of that and more great guests as well. Coming up, Doug Burns as well. Second hour of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
Hold it now. You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show on a Monday. Already the 20th of July. A lot of stuff going on. Had a very busy weekend. I spent a little bit of time working on the studio and everything. We obviously moved into Newsmax downtown studios last week. And, since then kind of, we're doing tweaking and stuff. We've got a smaller space here, so it's a little bit difficult to light it and all. And we have all sorts of other electronic equipment here because we are housed in the same building as a big old TV studio and all of that. So anyway, we appreciate your patience, and we hope you're enjoying the radio show, the live stream, the whole the whole kit and caboodle, as it were, whatever a kit and caboodle is. No idea what a kit and caboodle is. You're just supposed to know that it's the whole shebang. Don't even know what a shebang is, but it's the whole enchilada. I know what an enchilada is. That's it. Real quick, I just want to mention one other thing about New York City, what a Charlie Foxtrot it is. New York residents collected a stunning $2.6 billion in welfare payments last year, a 71% increase since 2022. What an absolute crap hole. They're turning it into a giant public housing project. New York, $2.6 billion in welfare payments and cash assistance to city residents in 2025. Money reached a record 864,000 people, almost 865,000 people, 30-year high, not matched since former Mayor Rudy Giuliani instituted major welfare reforms in the early 2000s. When coupled with payments from the SNAP program, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, the city paid out more than $7 billion in welfare to residents in 2024, according to an analysis of data from the city's Human Resources Administration. So there's your socialism for you, kids. There's your socialism for you. 71% increase in welfare payments since 2022. What the hell does that do to your city? Is that productive citizens building stuff, making stuff, or is it just a lot of people sucking on the government teat while some people toil and work very hard and others do nothing at all, which is what socialism is all about, to be quite honest. And then there's this. New York appears to be on the verge of replicating Los Angeles, establishing its own crime-ridden Skid Row that form a 12-block-long homeless encampment that continues to grow on Manhattan's west side, just like the one in L.A. So there you go. That's socialism doing a great job in the city of New York. And they want to try to pitch this nationally. Republicans gaining ground on Democrats heading into the 2026 midterms. You may recall a while back that I said there's no way that the Democrats are just going to walk in and win both houses of Congress because they have nothing to run on. For the last decade, they've been throwing an absolute temper tantrum. They've wrecked, they've burned, they've caterwauled, they've acted like spoiled, rotten children. They offer nothing positive or good at all. Have you heard anything positive or good coming from the Democrat Party? All you hear is, we don't want voter ID, we don't want the SAVE Act, we want mail-in voting, blah, blah, blah. Donald Trump bad, even though Donald Trump has done a hell of a good job on the border, on the economy, on returning manufacturing back, on bringing peace around the world, taking out Iran, the biggest terrorist proxy in the history of mankind that has killed tens of thousands of Americans and hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, and all of this, changing the face of Central and South America. And, of course, let's not forget opening up fossil fuel production in the United States of America, among other things. I could run through all of them, but I don't have, the next 3 hours to talk about all the good things. But that said, I said it was foolish and foolhardy to believe that a Democrat Party that is so profoundly negative and just freaked in the head. I mean, just nuts. People just nuts in the Democrat Party. All of this stuff they foisted on us that we rejected in 2024 with Kamala Harris, resoundingly, by the way. All this boys competing with girls, this transgender nonsense, this open border nonsense, this socialism nonsense. We rejected it. We rejected it. And here is Victor Davis Hanson talking about the midterms and some other things that are going on.
Less than 4 months now until the midterms, but the economic news has been surprisingly good. Inflation at a...
Do you know why? Because Donald Trump is doing the things that you need to make the economy work. And one of the things he's doing, he's cut the taxes on Social Security. He's allowed businesses to write off everything if they're building a new plant or whatever. Taking away all of the tax off of your Social Security earnings. No tax on tips. No tax on overtime.
Per month rate is at a historical low almost. And unemployment is about 4.2. GDP is strong at 2.3, 2.4.
Yeah.
Stock market is high. The full effect of tax cuts and greater energy production and deregulations are starting to be...
cut a lot of regulations on business. That was one of the promises he made. For every new regulation, they'd cancel several of them.
Along with foreign investment. So Trump thinks that along with the redistricting and the Supreme Court ruling on gerrymandering, he might have a chance to upset the historical reality that 39 of the last 41 midterms have gone to the out party.
Yeah, and he's also making sure that election integrity is way up there. New poll shows Democrats have a 48-45 edge on Republicans among registered voters, which means the GOP is sliced into the 5-point edge Dems had the last time the poll was released in May. Back in 2018, the Democrats gained 40 House seats, but they had a 10-point lead going into the poll, and now it's basically neck and neck, which means Republicans are probably ahead. And the GOP's path to retaining control of the House is here. This according to the Cook Political Report. To maintain control of the House of Representatives, the report says the Republicans are likely to come away with 212 seats and have classified a further 18 as toss-ups. 14 of the toss-ups seats are either currently held by a Republican incumbent or are now open seats that were previously held by a Republican. Notable races are in Colorado and Wisconsin. I won't get into those. Republicans only need to win 6 toss-up races in order to retain control of the House. Their prospects of maintaining a majority are boosted by the enormous fundraising advantage over the Democrat adversaries. The Democrat Party is broke. And then, of course, the Democrat Party is completely out of its mind, leaning into this idiotic socialism thing they want to do. Batya Ungar-Sargon's talking about this radical Islamist, this Abdul El-Sayed in Michigan, and it's the same dynamic that happened in Maine. These candidates that are Democrat, socialists, or communists, like the Plattner, they're getting keelhauled. Because the average voter doesn't want this crap. The average patriotic American of either party doesn't want this nonsense. And they're putting the pedal to the metal on crazy, like saying they're going to get rid of the Senate and the Defense Department. And the how do we elect the president? We're going to allow Congress to elect the president. Sure, that's all going to happen. No, it's not over our dead bodies, but we aren't the ones that are going to be doing the dying. But here is Batya Ungar-Sargon talking about how El-Sayed is going down the same path as Plattner.
But it's not working class voters electing them. Maybe because for all their talk about soak the rich and fight the oligarchy, the socialist candidates have all turned out to be rich elites, despite their best efforts to hide it. And if there's one thing working class voters can smell a mile away, it's a fraud.
Yeah.
A new poll out of Michigan found that Abdul El-Sayed, the DSA-aligned far-left candidate, is trailing Haley Stevens, his moderate Democrat opponent.
Yeah, she's the one who sounds like Chris Farley's sister, from SNL.
The primary by 22 points among voters without a college degree.
Wow.
Stevens has 56% of working class voters to El-Sayed's 34%.
Whoa.
The poll also found El-Sayed trailing Stevens with black voters, the backbone of the Democratic Party, by a whopping 46 points.
What?
Stevens is polling at 67% of black voters to El-Sayed's embarrassing 21%.
What did I tell you about Kamala Harris and her voters in 2024? Crazy, liberal cat ladies, and the emasculated men in their lives. That's it. Elites, white people, the ones who drive the Prius that say, "Sorry, I didn't know he was a Nazi before I bought the car," and he putting the religious symbol bumper sticker spelled in the sign that says "coexist" out of religious symbols on their car and all of that. They drive the Prius. They're the annoying ones. Those are the supporters of this Democrat socialism. And this El Sayed guy is a major fraud. He's for socialized medicine, the whole deal. But his wife doesn't even accept Medicare in her psychiatry practice.
Ironically, the socialists who
and he's really rich because his wife is rich.
hate capitalism come from elite backgrounds. El Sayed, for example, finally released his tax returns. According to a joint filing with his wife, El Sayed's income for 2025 was close to $700,000.
Wow, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
His financial disclosure estimated his net worth somewhere between $600,000 and $1.7 million. Where did all that money come from? Some of it came from foreign real estate, though a lot of it came from his wife's psychiatry practice, which takes no insurance. That's right. The
cash only.
Medicare for All candidate's wife does not take Medicare at her private practice.
Yeah, see, that's the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party. Bernie Sanders talks about oligarchy, and he's got 4 houses, millions of dollars, worth millions and millions of dollars. And then this is kind of funny. Jake Tapper actually called out this Abdul Al Sayed because, this Haley Stevens, who reminds you of Van Down by the River, Chris Farley's character on SNL. And he got called out because El Sayed was acting all sorts of angry at Republicans for kind of making fun of how she talks.
So the attacks on Haley Stevens are also at issue. I know there are a lot of attack ads against you, but there are so many attacks on Haley Stevens that on Friday you posted, quote, "It's become impossible to ignore the way that people online make fun of my opponent for things that have nothing to do with her policies or politics. It's unkind and unhelpful," unquote. It's true that there are some really harsh comments about Haley Stevens that I've seen.
Yeah.
Here's one. Quote, "She's a suit with a large AIPAC bank account. That's it. She can't string together 2 coherent sentences. She's a sellout who forgot how to think for herself. Corporate money can't buy her a personality."
Wow.
Do you know who said that?
Yeah, it must have been some Republican. Probably like Donald Trump or something.
That was you and your campaign.
Abdul Al Sayed said it.
And I want to speak to that because every single time we talk about the outside money coming in as a crutch in this election, it seems as though we're not hearing
This guy is such a freaking fraud. He is such a creep and a fraud, an extremist. He is not going to win. He's way behind with working voters. It's not going to get better. On the other side of the break, Mark Wayne Mullen on assuring that your vote is yours and election integrity. The Democrat Party exposing themselves completely, that they are the party of cheating. They do not have a winning message. They cannot earn their votes. They need to rig the system. All of that is coming up. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Life insurance.
Donald Trump's election. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the Rob Carson Show.
The socialists want to abolish ICE, while 60% of working class Americans support building a wall. The socialists want trans athletes competing against women, while 72% of working class Americans oppose it. The socialists routinely smear America, while Americans without a college degree are deeply patriotic.
Yeah, we are.
The socialists don't believe in capitalism and want to give everyone welfare, whereas working class Americans want higher wages so that they can enjoy the fruits of their labor.
Yeah, I know.
Check out the DSA's platform, which they plan to force every single candidate to sign onto in the future. It involves abolishing prisons, amnesty for all illegal...
You're out of your friggin' minds. You're a bunch of spoiled little children, and we're going to give you the spanking of a lifetime this year and put you out of our existence.
Aliens, and abolishing the Senate, among other ideas that would be laughable if they weren't so anathema to what it means to be an American.
Yeah.
The socialists aren't solving the Democrats' problem attracting working class voters. They have only amplified that problem, creating an elite white socialist mini party within the Democratic Party at the expense of the working class and black and Hispanic voters.
You know what? When you're too crazy for Van Jones, Van Jones was out doing a podcast this week, and I'm not going to play any audio from him, but Van Jones, it was former communist, by the way. He says they've gone too far. The Democrat Party is shredded. Is absolutely shredded. Here is Bill Maher talking about the Democrat Party.
I mean, you get some Democrats.
Democrats are cowardly.
Yeah.
They're cowardly. Their party is being taken over now by, every day I hear about a new, very radical. I feel very good about, like 10 whenever years ago, like I did lose fans because, I wasn't going to go along with some of this crazy stuff on the left, too.
Yeah.
I didn't change really on what I thought
We've been going through this crap for a decade. Defund the police, anybody? Transgendering children, anybody?
About the right, but I can't sit and just not notice stuff, which people seem to want to do because it's all about my team or your team. But, there's some crazy stuff, when we're cheering for the Intifada.
Yeah.
I gotta cut, I'm out.
Well, I don't know if you saw Jay Clayton.
You know what? Because the Democrat Party is going socialist and anti-Semitic. And if I'm not mistaken, that's kind of the way Germany went in the 1930s. And I'm not being pejorative in any way, shape, or form. Here is Bill Maher, again, of all people you can imagine, doing an interview with Jonathan Karl, saying that he's not going to live in a communist United States.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not living in communist America. I mean, I know... The talking point is that, well, it's not communism, it's socialism. Okay, I've read the quote.
No, it's not.
From the DSA platform, from their own mouths. Don't tell me I'm not seeing what I am seeing. And DSA, again, they
I told you that the Democrat Party was going to have to either reinvent itself or disappear into the dustbin of history. And they are allowing the DSA to essentially take over. And finally, some people are beginning to realize, if this happens, I'm out. I am completely done with the party, and this includes Bill Maher.
2028 is a different story because by then, this wing of the party, this new wing with all the energy, and it's not just a few people anymore. Every day I read about a new person in some Colorado and Wisconsin, somebody who is saying some variation of not defund the police, abolish the police. No prisons, no police. Like, what world do they think we could possibly live in under these conditions?
It's exactly what New York is right now, which is Animal Farm meets Lord of the Flies. It's exactly children in charge. It's Animal Farm communism and children in charge, Lord of the Flies.
It's just a level of nutty that I'm so glad that whenever it was, I was like, no, I'm not going along because this is where it ends.
Could you see yourself voting for J.D. Vance?
Yes. If this is the Democrat...
He could be voting for J.D. Vance. Hold on. Did you hear what I just said? J.D. Vance. Bill Maher says he could vote for J.D. Vance. Marco Rubio possibly as well. Here is Scott Jennings talking about what I've been saying about the Democrat Party, what they're doing right now.
I think to boil this down to just insurgent versus establishment overlooks what many of these people are running on. They're simply beyond insurgency here. I mean, you've got people out there winning primaries that want to abolish borders, abolish ICE, abolish prisons, abolish the police, abolish the United States Senate. This is well outside the bounds of normal political discourse, and it's all happening in the Democratic Party. I don't think the Democratic Party leadership understands. They've already been overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time before these views become the mainstream platform, and that's what they're going to
listen to this moron on the panel, and Jennings just pick him apart.
Running on in 2028 as well.
Oh, I said, privatize Social Security, put that in the stock market and see how it does. If it crashes,
Social Security's bankrupt, moron.
Would have done great had they done it back in 05.
Until it doesn't, right? Until it doesn't, which is what happened.
Everything you've tried has worked there. Colton Trent?
Happened in the 1930s when people were struggling, and I think that's what we're seeing right now is a moment.
He was a comms director for AOC.
We had in the 1930s in America, where people are tired of the way things are going for them, and we're going to see a transformation in the way our politics is done, and hopefully we'll see a Democrat.
I agree. The anti-Israel, the anti-Jewish rhetoric, it does remind me of the 1930s. I couldn't agree with you more.
There is no question that the anti-fascism is also rising, and the fascists were on our show.
1930s Germany is the point that he was making, and it's not going to work. It's going to fail. It's going to do an absolute faceplant because it's insane. John Fetterman. No, I don't have time for this. I've got John Fetterman. Fetterman went off this weekend, and he says that he will leave the party. So it's happening as I said it was going to. I said the Democrat Party was doing a death spiral into hell, and now it's actually busting up. Now it's actually falling apart. Fetterman is interested in leaving. Maher says he's going to vote for J.D. Vance or maybe Rubio, who the hell knows. It is delicious. It's just fun to watch. But we've got to keep the pressure on them, and we got to make sure that this movement ends in a very quick and maybe painful way. Let's take a break and come back. Doug Burns next. Don't go anywhere. Rob Carson Show. Jeez, man. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's why I switched to Ghost Bed. Helps keep you cool all night, no waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. You get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I got my Ghost Bed about 6 months ago, and it changed my life. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is currently having their 4th of July sale, offering my audience an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson, promo code Carson.
No one has seen him for ages. It has been 6 months or longer. His country just keeps getting weaker, while America gets stronger. Khomeini, what happened to you, Khomeini? Could it be a through? Well, just maybe you are no longer around.
A lot of people are saying that he's badly disfigured. Other people are saying he's dead.
They are saying you were injured, but that somehow you're still breathing. When you see Iran's destruction, bet that it has you seething. Khomeini, future is dim. Khomeini, missing a limb. Khomeini, will we ever see
Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, two things matter most: that it works and that you can trust it. I trust Relief Factor. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed. And of course, we'd like you to hear a few of their stories. Mark, for instance, was in tears from his daily hand joint discomfort. But after a week on Relief Factor, he felt 50% better. Now he barely even notices any pain. I can attest to this. It used to hurt getting up and out of chairs or even off the bench press at the gym. Not so much anymore. People like Mark make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us a Relief Factor story and how it gave you your life back. 3 weeks now for just $17.76. Simply go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. They'll do everything they can to help. We hope you'll be sharing your story too. relieffactor.com or 800-4RELIEF.
Ensure that the midterm elections are going to be secure? Yes, we absolutely can build confidence in the American people, but the states have to do their part. I will tell you, if the states that choose not to participate with the SAVE program and they choose not to participate in securing the elections, we will make sure that we make those states a priority to look at who voted in their states and hold then the election officials accountable. If the election officials, once we gave them the information they need to secure their elections, and they chose not to, then those individuals can also be held accountable by fines, by penalties, and even, depending on how far it goes, prison time.
Yeah, they're getting serious about election integrity, but of course the Democrat Party is saying that ensuring election integrity is actually making people less confident in the voting process, which means absolutely it makes no sense whatsoever, because they are relying on an election process that is corrupted, by the way. Corrupted, they said, in 4 states, 285,000 illegals registered to vote, just in 4 states. Joining us to talk about all of this and so much more, one of our favorite guests, Doug Burns, former federal prosecutor. How you doing, my friend?
Good, Rob. Thanks.
All right, so they want to ensure election integrity. Mark Wayne Mullen is saying election officials in states that don't clean their voter rolls, among other things, will be subject to criminal prosecution. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, he laid it out clearly. He said that in the first step, so to speak, would be, enforcement action, fines, sanctions, orders to clean it up. And then, if they can develop some kind of, fraudulent activity, absolutely, 100%, you could have criminal prosecutions. But again, we're not going to get anywhere if we're going to continue, and I know I'm a broken record, but I have to be, if we're going to continue to have political figures in the United States of America on the Democratic side idiotically, moronically say, the SAVE Act is the return of Jim Crow. The SAVE Act is designed to disenfranchise voters. I mean, this is just breathtakingly unacceptable nonsense.
Didn't you hear this week, and I don't have the soundbite in front of me, but AOC basically inferred that the Senate, the U.S. Senate is a product of Jim Crow. What the hell kind of sense does that make? Jim Crow didn't come around for 100 years after the Senate had already been there.
Well, she taught me another thing that I thought was useful, so I'm glad that the Professor AOC taught me this. She was analyzing the 25th Amendment, Robert, and she said, yeah, that's how we got rid of FDR. Well, memo to AOC, he died in office.
It is remarkable how ignorant these people are. I mean, honestly, I want to hear. This is a little bit more of Mark Wayne Mullen talking about illegals registered to vote.
If you are an illegal or you're voting illegally, we will hunt you down, we will find you, and we will prosecute you. President Trump is correct when he said that election security is national security. In just 4 states, we've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in California, in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada.
Now, why would they be registered to vote? Why do people register to vote, Doug?
Well, they register to vote. It's interesting because obviously what the Secretary is talking about, first and foremost, are federal elections where such people cannot vote. You have political figures in the bluest of blue states, California, et cetera. They want to pass legislation that people can, in fact, vote in local elections.
Of course. And that means that they will vote in national elections. Everybody knows that is the slippery slope to illegals voting nationally. Dear God in heaven. It's just so bloody evident, isn't it? Isn't it just so bloody evident that this is exactly what they try to do by opening the border? Go ahead.
Yeah, the problem is, I'm sorry to interrupt you, the problem is that, again, the messaging is very, very, very poor because, as I just talked to people, social settings, lunch tables, whatever it is, I mean, they're remarkably ignorant. They're remarkably misled about things like this. And again, it goes back to, the Chuck Schumers, the AOCs, the Hakeem Jeffries. Again, these people do occupy positions of supposed leadership, emphasis on the word supposed, and they're calling stuff racist and Jim Crow all day long before lunch, and people lap it up. That's my point. People absolutely soak it up.
I need to ask you this very important question because I need your very well-educated opinion on it. You've got this Democrat Socialists of America cabal of children who say that, among other things, they are saying they will get rid of the Senate, they will get rid of the border, they will get rid of police and prisons, they will eliminate how we elect the president and allow the House of Representatives. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the only way you could do that, because when you become a member of Congress, you are sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the only way you could do such things is a seditious act of treason, and this cannot be allowed. What do you suppose? How could they possibly propose such absurdity? Because only an act of war could allow those things to be ushered into our country.
Well, as previously discussed, I think it was last week, between the two of us, the point is you cannot possibly raise your right hand and take the oath of office for Congress and then even remotely propose those type of things that you're talking about. Because the point is, you said it perfectly, you're swearing to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Constitution of the United States provides for Congress, provides for these various things that they're overtly saying they want to eliminate. So again, the best metaphor is, running something off the rails. I'm not sure why this is happening. I think, I said, I think also last week, the 2024 presidential election is a very positive sign that such nonsense will never be accepted by the public at large in America.
Well, this is what happens when children throw temper tantrums and mom and dad capitulate. And it becomes much bigger and they get much more powerful. They feel they're much more powerful than they really are. They do not have they are not as intellectually, and I might add, physically well-armed as patriotic Americans. And I believe, what do you suppose, Doug, just your political opinion on this? I've said that the Democrat Party is doing a death spiral into hell and would have to reinvent itself or disappear into the dustbin of history. I never foresaw this precipitation of the disintegration of the Democrat Party. What do you suppose is going to happen? And by the way, can the Democrat Party just say, no, we're not going to allow this takeover? You'll have to run as your own party?
Yeah, first you look at the reason why it happened, and then you look at the future. You try to portend the future, I should say. The reason this happened, as discussed a zillion times, you and all the other leading journalists, is that, you know, they just hate Trump so much that human beings rarely make good decisions when they're angry. And this is exactly what happened. You use the term sore losers and babies. You're 100% spot on. You know, they did all that fake stuff. He's a criminal worse than Al Capone and John Gotti. That's why we indicted him 4 times. The public just wrecked him like a Mack truck hitting him in the face and reelected him. That's a stinging rebuke, don't forget. And that's why they became hysterical, sore-losing babies for the last two years already. So now what's going to happen in the future? You know, the Chuck Schumers of the world are in a tough box, though. Any politician in that age bracket, I mean, the Democratic Party, for good, bad, and indifferent, you know, I was a law clerk in Louisville, Kentucky. The head of the law firm was a very, very conservative Democrat. You know, so all of these labels today are just crazy. But to answer your question, and I'm not avoiding it, I do think that it has to self-correct in some way, shape, or form. It has to.
Yeah. On the other side of the break, I want to talk about an appeals court lifting the block on the United States Postal Service mail-in ballot plan for Trump. And then also, Zohran Mamdani thinks he's going to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yep.
I want to touch on both of those on the other side of the break. More with the great Doug Burns on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, listen, are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob. Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or more of term life insurance for a couple of $100 a month. Look, you need to know there's a price war in the term life insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call Bob, and he'll shop and see how much money he can save you. Look, this could be the last term life insurance policy you ever have. Your rates are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rates for the next 20 years. And if you're a smoker or your health is not perfect, Bob has great rates for you too. So for $1 million of term life insurance coverage for a couple of $100 a month, call Bob right now. 800-890-5075. 800-890-5075. 800-890-5075. That's 800-890-5075. Paid for by Term Direct.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, in times like these, with market swings, tax uncertainty, constant headlines, having a clear retirement strategy matters more than ever. You've worked very hard to build your savings. The next step is making sure that your plan is built to protect what you have and support the future that you want. That's why I recommend to you Paresh Shah and Shamik Shah with Safe Retirement Solutions. Paresh and Shamik are financial educators and trusted radio hosts right here on WCBM. They work with individuals and families to create retirement strategies that are designed around long-term security, clarity, and peace of mind. If you'd like a second opinion on your retirement plan, call Safe Retirement Solutions today. It's 410-266-1120. That's 410-266-1120. You can schedule it in person or Zoom meeting. Again, 410-266-1120, or just go to PairShaw.com.
Looking for a fun, family-friendly day out? Visit the Pennsylvania Dutch Market in Cockeysville, your one-stop destination for authentic Amish food, friendly faces, and over 20 stalls filled with handcrafted goods. Enjoy fresh flowers, fruits, veggies, and the best seafood and meats around, plus sweet treats baked fresh daily. The smell will draw you in, and the experience will keep you coming back. Open Thursday and Friday 9 to 6, and Saturday 8 to 4. The Pennsylvania Dutch Market. So much to see, smell, and savor.
Hi, Dr. Lairfield here. If fear has kept you from the dentist, the Smile Design Center is the place to go. We have a little purple pill. You'll relax and have little to no memory of your visit. Just a healthy new smile. Call me at the Smile Design Center now for a free consultation at 410-321-1100.
Stay connected and informed with the latest news at the top of every hour. Then talk about it.
Wouldn't you like a little excitement for a change?
On Talk Radio 680 WCBM and WCBM.com.
But where we have become parts in our party now, describing Israel is genocidal state or apartheid state, and now we're not going to vote for any kind of aid. And now even people like the J Street organization are going to vote against basic things like the Iron Dome. And it's getting more and more incredibly hostile towards Israel. Israel is our important key ally. When candidates like you've had Dr. on just before me won't criticize Iran. In fact, he'll warn his supporters, well, we can't just be talking about that the leader of Iran was eliminated, which I think I'm proud to say that's a great thing. You know, eliminating Hamas leadership, eliminating Hezbollah leadership or Iran, that makes things safe and more just, and that's entirely appropriate views.
Yeah, that is John Fetterman, basically saying he's going to leave the Democrat Party if they continue their wayward trek toward anti-Semitism. They call it, of course, anti-Zionism, but it is anti-Semitism without a doubt. Would you agree? Doug Burns.
Well, he's the perfect anecdotal point transitioning from what we were just discussing before the break, and that is that I was saying that it has to self-correct. So hopefully you see more and more Democrats step up to the plate, do the right thing, and start saying, look, these far, far left notions, you know, we're going to get rid of the Senate, we're going to get rid of the Electoral College, we're going to pack the Supreme Court. Yes. None of this flies, and I'm now going to switch parties. I'm not going to support this platform, et cetera, et cetera. I think, you know, from my mouth to God's ears, as you hear me say once in a while, I think you're going to see more of that.
Maybe it's the smelling salts that the Democrat Party need, the people who maybe still exist out there who don't believe boys can become girls, and all of this mania, all of this insanity. Voltaire said those who are made to believe absurdities will commit atrocities. That's the road they went down, Doug, on everything. Maybe this is the smelling salts to wake them out of this, whatever state they've been in for the last freaking decade, and maybe some people with a little common sense might say, let's grab the reins of the party and save it.
Yeah, you would think that there's a line, you know, we'll just kind of say that, you know, despite all of this crazy talk before, but there's a clear line. You know, it's funny because in my mind, the line is reached this morning, this afternoon, when you turn around and say, we're eliminating the Senate. I mean, what are you kidding me? That crosses the line, period. And by the way, repeat point for the vast audience, you can't swear the oath to be a senator or congressman, et cetera, and turn around and espouse those views.
Yeah, you can't. Here's the thing. We are a representative republic. We are guided by our Constitution. That is what everything is based on. All of our law is based on that. It's not going anywhere. The only way you could possibly do it is try to commit an act of war, and that ain't going to happen. We are going to lambaste you. There is no way that is going to happen. And I got to tell you, this has really ticked me off. These spoiled little children, and they're going to get the spanking of their lives. And I'm hoping that some of them are denaturalized, deported, booted out of the party, and never able to hold elected office, because that's the kind of crap that's going to happen. Let's move on to Zohran Mamdani. Of all the things that he concerned himself, considering there's a 12-block-long skid row in New York City now, they have open-air prescription drug markets. They have, the budget is in a shambles. People are moving out, and he says he's going to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. I mean, nobody's taking this guy seriously, are they, on this?
Well, before I get to that, really quick, he put in Cynthia Nixon, the actress from
God. Sex
and the City, to be a judicial screener. So I'm contacting the Mamdani administration this morning, and I want to tell them I want to play center field for the Yankees, Rob, because I have a law degree and I play the piano.
Tell me about this. Tell me about the Cynthia Nixon bullcrap, and then also tell me about the chances are that Zohran Mamdani, who in the hell would arrest Netanyahu, and honestly, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I have a good friend who was law partners with my late father, Stuart Summit, great guy, and he was on this very prestigious judicial screening committee. Stuart, long-time litigator, et cetera, et cetera. And so you've always had top legal figures, big surprise, right, on judicial screening for New York State. Now we go into this world exactly the way you've been describing it throughout our whole discussion, this crazy town stuff, and they take this actress who I don't know, I wouldn't know if I fell over her. I've seen her in that other show she's in, I forget the name of it.
Yeah,
but the point is, she's going to do judicial screening? It's ridiculous. Now, on the Netanyahu thing, I mean, that has zero legal viability. I had the for lack of a better description, of seeing Professor Dershowitz explaining it in a segment on a video I was watching. And the point is, really quick for everybody, A, this is clearly a matter of federal law and federal jurisprudence. It has nothing to do with a local official like the mayor of New York City. B, the warrant issued by that international court has zero validity, zero credibility. The head of it did it, apparently. Khan had that thing issued to deflect attention from himself on some sexual misconduct allegations.
Oh, God.
But the point is, on the pure law stuff, again, let me just repeat, the NYPD has no authority whatsoever to effectuate that type of an arrest warrant from an international criminal court.
And it would be an international incident. It would be such an international incident. It's never going to happen. It would never happen.
It's never going to happen, and there would be serious ramifications and repercussions if he even tried that. But having said that, let's use a little common sense. We're not naive. This is the classic pandering type of stuff that he does all day long with that big smile of his.
Oh, it's ridiculous. He's an awful human being. I had heard the possibility that since he lied on his application to get into the United States, that that there could be the possibility he could be denaturalized and deported to Uganda. I'm not holding my breath on that, but I kind of wish it would happen. Doug Burns, we got to go, brother. I mean, I could talk to you for a couple hours, but I do.
I could talk to you for hours as well.
I know, dude. We're going to do it. We're going to do extended podcasts once we get everything rolling. I appreciate you, though, Doug. Have a glorious day, man. I appreciate your time.
You too. Thanks for having me on. I'll talk to you.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hi, guys. Wow, what a show, what a day, my Lord in heaven. Hi there, Wild Bill West. Damn, Rob, looks like you are in a closet. Oh, okay, thanks. Trying to make it look good here, but, we got a lot of work to do on the lighting and whatnot. I'm doing my best. Doing my best here, guys. I'm the only radio and television personality in the history of broadcasting to build his own radio and TV studio. And run his own video and run his own audio. So it'd be like if Walter Cronkite ran the cameras and everything and directed the broadcast. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And even Limbaugh didn't run his own equipment. I do. I run my own audio. So I apologize if it doesn't always look exactly the way it is. It doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad right now. But hello, Kevin Goodmoot. Good to see you there today. Not sure who you are. You're new, but I'll welcome you to the fold. Gladys Kravitz, Habalone. Hello. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Deplorable Dinosaur. Mick Redchester. All of you guys. I appreciate you. Let's see who's watching on Facebook, on the Facebook page. Jellyfish Hunter. Samkin Potter, as always. Glad to have you with us today. Hope you're enjoying the radio program. I got to see what I'm going to talk about next here. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I got a new parody I'm going to play here. Jim Gossett. Mohammed Naji, hello. Welcome to Facebook viewership. We appreciate you. Free Gaza, hell yeah, brother. Let the Israelis take over. Okay, now you're gone. Free Palestine. Bye. Bye, Mohammed. See ya. All right.
Is it wrong to take this in a lighthearted fashion? Should we be taking these folks more seriously?
Well, I do take them very seriously, and I find it ironic that in the middle of our 250th anniversary, where our founders understood the risks of mass democracy and the threats to liberty, they created a republic for this reason. And what this platform does is it throws out all of that and exposes every American to the very kinds of risks that our founders tried to avoid.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen. He's talking about the DSA. That's Horace Cooper, by the way. I like him a lot. Here's Jim Gossett as Bernie Sanders, the socialist who's a millionaire with 4 houses.
DSA
Shaboom
is made up of commies.
Shaboom.
They want to take away all that you own.
All that you own, yeah.
We want to seize your house.
Seize your house.
Take the jewelry from your spouse.
Jewelry from your spouse.
You can't have an IRA or a 401k. We will take it away for DSA. Socialism, we love it.
We're gonna crush it.
Your money.
To spoil children.
We won't let you keep. Let you keep. We hate free enterprise.
Shoo-bop, shoo-bop.
Want to cut it down to size.
Do-wop, do-bow.
If we get our way, we will confiscate your pay. Supreme Court will go away.
Not gonna happen. Jim Gossett right there on the Rob Carson Show. That's the second piece of satire he did today. If you would like to subscribe and help him out, go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. I was thinking about this over the weekend. I used to work with a guy named Paul Shanklin at the Rush Limbaugh program. Nothing against Paul, but he'd crank out about one bit every 2 weeks. Jim cranks out 2 killer bits every single day, and since we've started working together, I'm thinking between 2,500 and 3,500 pieces of comedy that we have done together on this radio program. It's more prolific than you can ever imagine. Patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. On the way, Stephen Miller talking about the ugliness of the left, and a brilliant commentary from the head of a school in Great Britain about indoctrination. And then Hillary Fordwish is going to talk about the new Prime Minister of the UK. You thought Starmer was bad. It's much worse. They've got a socialist in charge. Don't go anywhere.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
Hold it now. You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 3 of the radio program. I hope you had a nice weekend. I had a nice weekend. I worked a bunch, but had a little bit of fun as well. Saw a very funny show on Friday. There's a little theater, and there's a little jazz club around the block from my home. There's a young guy working there. He was waiting tables and whatnot. He's also an actor. I know, hard to believe. And he says, hey, I'm part of this comedy show. It's called Drunk Pirates. And, he told me a little bit, and I bought tickets right there on the spot. And I ended up going to see the show on Friday night, and it was an absolute riot. It was an absolute hilarious, raucous, fun show. With the pirate theme. That's all I can really tell you about it. It was just phenomenal. Just a terrific show. And I like to help out. A lot of times, actors and performers and whatnot tend to be a little bit on the liberal side of things. That didn't matter at all. And oddly enough, in the performance, there was no mention of politics whatsoever. One of the things that I was with a friend of mine, and you're offered the opportunity to bid and become the essentially the. Like, say, for instance, you're at a Renaissance fair, and you were able to be the king and the queen for the day. We got to be the chief pirate and piratess or whatever of the whole deal. We got to sit down in the end. We got to wear pirate hats and the whole deal and play with the audience. And it was just a riot. It was a riot. It was just absolutely fun. So the whole weekend wasn't shot, by working here and all that, getting the show ready. I did get a chance to use the indoor smoker. I have an indoor smoker, and I did salmon and chicken breasts in the indoor smoker, and it turned out just absolutely beautiful. I mean, my God, just the competition chicken thighs in this thing. If you're a barbecue competition guy, and very few of you are, when you do classic, like World Series barbecue kind of stuff, you do chicken thighs. They don't do breasts and all that because the thighs have the most flavor, most fat, blah, blah, blah. And they make competition-level chicken thighs in this smoker, and it's made by Jen Air, and it's an indoor smoker, and you smoke meat like ribs, pork butt, the whole deal, but you don't smell it. Because it actually uses wood pellets, and then it filters it through water, and you dump the water out, and the water looks like coffee, by the way, when you're done with it, and it's like liquid smoke. It's like making liquid smoke. It's just phenomenal. So I did that. I hope you don't mind me, sharing, but it's kind of cool. U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit issued a stay on Friday, temporary lifting a lower court's ruling on the United States Postal Service mail-in ballot proposal in a major win for Donald Trump. March 31st, the president issued an executive order ensuring citizenship verification and integrity in federal elections, meaning you got to be able to tell on a mail-in ballot if the person is a legit American citizen. You see, the Democrat Party has flooded the voting registrations with illegals. They have. It's absolutely true. And if you don't believe me, I'll find this soundbite from Mark Wayne Mullen earlier, and he will give you an idea of how many people actually who have been signed up for illegal ballots. And this, by the way, remember Donald Trump did a little address last week, and hold on, MWM, there we go, MWM, Mark Wayne Mullen. Anyway, he did an address about how the Chinese Communist Party got hold of all of the voter registration data, addresses, and the whole deal of 220 million of us. And by the way, that's you. I mean, legitimately, they have your information. They know where you live. They know what party you're affiliated with. The Chinese Communist Party does it. The leftist media decided not to cover that. They decided not to cover that. But here is Mark Wayne Mullen, DHS Secretary, talking about the number of illegals on the voter rolls. This is legit. There's no doubt about this. It would be a massive news story in any other administration.
If you are an illegal or you're voting illegally, we will hunt you down. We will find you.
Yay.
and we will prosecute you.
Yay!
President Trump is correct when he said that election security is national security. In just 4 states, we've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in California, in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada.
Wow.
One thing that I love about numbers and I love about facts is they don't lie. The president was giving facts, what we have exposed, what the Biden administration covered up, what the intelligence community held from the American people, Congress, and the executive branch.
Yeah, and the president.
And we're putting it out there. Currently, because of the SAVE program, we have a pending appeal because activist judges are saying what? They don't want to secure our elections? Those states that don't participate with us, they have public records of those that voted. We will go through those records.
Wow.
One by one, and we will pursue everybody. We will make sure that people know they can trust our elections.
Yeah, there you go. We've got to be able to trust the elections, but the Democrat Party, they don't have anything to run on. It's kind of funny. Here's Mark senator from the Mark Warner, the senator from the state of Virginia. I met him like nearly 20 years ago. He has really become a pretty dark and awful human being. Here he is saying that by ensuring that we know who's voting and that they're legal and all this, we are somehow undermining confidence.
Whether that takes, I think that what we just saw this was the opening shot. The opening shot of trying to undermine Americans' confidence that their votes will be actually...
No, actually, it's giving it a shot of adrenaline, actually. Now we're starting to believe like the elections aren't being rigged.
Counted and means something. I fear as well that if he tries to pull something that could potentially... He's not ruled out bringing ICE to the polls. He's not even ruled out the idea of trying to bar certain voting machines.
No, the ICE to the polls is to keep the 250,000 people who are illegal that have registered to vote from going and voting, you moron. There you go. This is Lori Reese of the Heritage Foundation. I want you to listen to this, because the left is going bananas on ICE. Now, it used to be the police. I wanted to defund the police. Now the only law enforcement agency, although there was an attack on an FBI office today, it's like 1968 all over again. I don't remember 1968, but it's just like 1968. The same radical leftists are doing this nonsense, and it's going to get crushed under the butt of our heels like a cigarette. But Lori Reese was talking about ICE, and why is it they just hate ICE? Just ICE. Why are they so nuts about ICE? And literally a couple of years ago, Kamala Harris said, ICE was Gestapo. All of them were saying ICE is Gestapo a couple of years ago. Why is that? Why would they say such things? Here is Kamala Harris from literally right before she was a presidential candidate.
My values have not changed.
A hashtag abolish ICE, referring to the enforcement agency when it comes to immigration. Listen to what your colleague, Senator Kamala Harris, said about the idea of abolishing ICE. Here's what she told my colleague Casey Hunt.
Examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being...
She was supposed to be the border czar, and she allowed 20 million people to come across the southern border, and she never even went and visited it.
Administered and the work it is doing, and we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
Here she is saying that the ICE is KKK.
Ku Klux Klan. Ku Klux Klan.
It's not the Ku Klux Klan, by the way. It's the Ku Klux Klan. And I mean this for all news anchors and whatnot. It's the Ku Klux Klan. It's not the Ku Klux Klan. Get a clue.
The KKK.
Well, the Klan was what we would call today a domestic terrorist group.
Why? Why would we call them domestic terrorist group?
Because they tried to use fear and force to change political environment.
And what was the motivation for the use of fear and force?
It was based on race and ethnicity.
Right. Are you aware of the perception of many about how the...
No, it's a perception made up by the Democrat Party. And here is Lori Reese, Heritage Foundation, explaining why.
The left will show you, what they fear and what they want to protect by who they go after, who they attack. And it is all about ICE and preventing ICE from doing its job.
It is.
Because millions came in during Biden's 4 years and they don't want them to be deported. Their political base depends on it, whether it is direct voting illegally, whether it is ballot generation through Social Security numbers and work authorization, et cetera, and the head count for the census to determine congressional districts and electoral college votes. President Trump did promise mass deportations in addition to securing the border. Mass deportations was the second plank of the platform in 2024. We needed it because Americans were fed up with the crime and the fentanyl and the costs of housing and educating and detaining and et cetera, the masses who had come. And that hasn't changed. And so that's why we need ICE to do
that's
its
why they want to
job.
get rid of ICE. It's very obvious. It's so painfully obvious it's not even funny. That's why I say, you know why the Democrats want so many illegals in the country? And they want them to vote. You know, I know that because I'm not stupid. Yeah, it's that easy. Here is John Carl with a K. Mark Warner says, we don't need the Save America Act because they require ID in my state, which is Virginia. And Jonathan Carl with a K called it out and said, no, not so much.
Now, I understand that you and I think every other Democrat oppose this so-called Save America Act, and there's a lot of reasons that you've put forward. But let me ask you
because you want illegals to vote. That's why 250,000 of them were registered to vote in just 4 states.
On the issue of photo ID, requiring photo ID to register to vote, is this something that Democrats should get behind?
We have
80-some% of Americans, 71% of Democrats say they favor this?
You know what? In Virginia, we have voter ID and
listen, John Carl here.
Photo ID. I got to show my.
That's actually not the case. I mean, I'm a Virginia voter. You don't need to show a photo ID in Virginia.
Wow.
There are a wide range of things.
Well, the senator didn't know that.
Show for ID, and if you don't show one of those, you can sign an affidavit saying.
Sign an affidavit.
But so it's not required.
Those become ballots that, if you want to contest later, can be contested. But you do have a variety of documents.
Well, I just got caught with his pants down completely, which is not a pretty sight. On the other side of the break, I want to share some terrific audio from Stephen Miller about the ugliness of the left, and it's actually literally and figuratively. That's on the way. This is the Rob Carson Show.
WCBM and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
It's my new theme song.
There is no more incredible man on this earth.
I love this take on Spencer Davis. Turn this up, Brian. You need to listen to this. If you're a percussion fan like I am, it's on Spotify. The group or whatever is called Smoove, Smoove. Their version of I'm a Man, and they do some percussion in this, and it just, I love the beat. I love my guitar. I love my bass. I love my percussion. It's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Anti-ICE terror in New York. Footage shows a radical anti-ICE activist setting fire outside an immigration court in New York City. This is what the left is doing. This is 1968 all over again, and they're going to have to be beaten back. They're going to have to be beaten into hell. That's what is going to have to happen. The left has been doing a temper tantrum in this country for a decade now. They burned their way across our country in the summer of 2020. Nobody did anything about it. The Democrat Party did nothing about it. We had to sit here and watch this, and then we had to see the open border for 4 years, and we were screaming, my God, do something about this. And hundreds of thousands died of fentanyl poisoning. Hundreds of thousands of children were trafficked for sex and labor, and women as well. Thousands died on the trail here to come across the southern border. People are going to have to pay for this. That's all there is to it. Americans are celebrating. New report finds 80% of Haitian illegal aliens have fled Springfield, Ohio. Local business owners are panicking because their stores are half empty. Well, you know what? Go back to where you were. Go back to being where you were, Springfield, Ohio, before this nonsense of allowing them to come in because of an earthquake that happened nearly 20 years ago. It's working. Goodbye. Go back. Go make Haiti great. I'm not going to say make it again because Haiti's always sucked. I mean, from the beginning, Haiti has always sucked. So take a copy of the Constitution. They have a little pocket Constitution. You can take it with you. Declaration of Independence. Go back and make Haiti not suck. And tell your leaders to stop bleeding your most valuable resource, which is your people. That's what these awful countries, as Donald Trump used to call them, S-holes around the country used to do. I want to play something real quick. Did you watch the soccer final yesterday? Argentina and Spain. I guess Spain won 1-0. Waited 150 minutes or whatever the hell, and won 1-0. I know, whatever. Some people are really into it. I watched it. I liked the trophy presentation in the end. Donald Trump was brought up on stage. He was slighted by a couple of punks from Spain. This was the highlight of Spain, by the way. They won the World Cup. Great. You guys play soccer. Cool. But your government sucks. You have a socialist in charge of Spain, and Donald Trump has suggested we cut off all trade with you, and now you're capitulating. But overall, I think the World Cup was an amazing thing. One of the best things that came out of it was so many people coming here and realizing they've been lied to about America, and the left lying about America to all of us, and people from around the world realizing how kind and benevolent we are, and how generous we are, and how amazing America is, and how we have these incredible facilities all over the country where they were able to watch their game. Football is Piers Morgan likes to call it. It's not soccer, it's football. But it was cool. I think it was fortuitous that Donald Trump is the president of the United States in the 250th year of our birth. Donald Trump was one of the ones who precipitated the arrival of and the decision to bring FIFA here for the World Cup in the 250th year of our birth. And, of course, Donald Trump is the president. Halftime, Justin Bieber. I know, I didn't even know he was alive. He sang a song about Jesus. Did you hear about this? He sang a song about Jesus. I thought that was pretty amazing. Here's a little bit of it.
And maybe we find love in this moment. We don't even have to try. I could write a song, but my words just wouldn't do. So I sing hallelujah, hallelujah, baby.
Hallelujah.
Let's take a walk, hallelujah.
Okay.
Sun is out, hallelujah. Look at you.
Yeah, the chorus was Hallelujah and all that, so that was kind of cool. I mean, it was okay. He wasn't great or anything. I don't know whatever else happened at the halftime. I heard Madonna was going to be there. I wasn't watching, but I did watch the end of it. The Democrat Party, as I mentioned, is completely insane. Did you hear about this? A transgender activist running to replace Graham Plattner. Did you see the freak show last week when they had the debate? The candidates debate. There were 4 candidates there, and they're all just bat guano crazy. And this one, Ashley Webb, who looks like, and I didn't want to insult Meatloaf's memory, but kind of looked like Meatloaf's sister. Anyway, has gender dysphoria, which used to be called a mental illness. Reddit posts under the name Sparky603. Of course, Webb initially announced his run for Senate. You misgendered him. Shut up. He's insane. For Senate last week, he said, I'm a trans and intersex woman. No, you're not. Farmington, and I'm running the whole campaign myself, candidate and treasurer both, so no big donors, no machine behind me. Well, he says it was a long shot in a crowded field. Now, he went on to describe what's going on with his, sexuality. He appears to have spent a lot of time trying to explain his self-described transgender intersex condition on Reddit, explaining that his karyotype, it's called a karyotype, whatever that is XY, meaning that he's a biological man. However, he states that he has the external male parts and said he is pretty positive I am XX type, except got internal organs, unless what I am feeling here are tumors that just happens to grow. There are sorts of organs are usually. He claims to ovulate and get monthly periods despite no evidence of female organs because the, how do I put this gingerly? Because he bleeds out the back door. He bleeds out the back door. Now, that usually means hemorrhoids or cancer. One or the other. But he said the pain sometimes is real bad during the month. I am feeling something in both my right and left side and above the bladder. And he's, so I guess, claiming those are ovaries spitting out an egg. But it's no, he's that's just, wow. I hope you weren't eating. Were you eating? I really apologize. That's your Democrat Party. That's one of their candidates. And he's one of the ones who wants to replace the guy who was the Nazi with a kick profile, and he liked to play with himself in public bathrooms. I know. That's your Democrat Party. Oh, my God. Duh. Expert on all things Great Britain, Hillary Fordwich, joins us next. Hey, guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, 2 things matter most: that it works and that you can trust it. Jim ran out of Relief Factor twice. Both times his ache, stiffness, and pain came back. Once he restarted again, he says he felt better again. You know something's working when you run out of it. I started taking Relief Factor 6 months ago. I ride 30 miles on a Saturday morning on my mountain bike and lift weights every other day, and I feel great. People like Jim make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us Relief Factor help you tackle your daily aches and pains. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Simply go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. They will do everything they can to help. We hope you'll be sharing your story with us too. 800-4RELIEF or ReliefFactor.com. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's why I switched to Ghost Bed. Helps keep you cool all night, no waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. You get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I got my Ghost Bed about 6 months ago, and it changed my life. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is currently having their 4th of July sale, offering my audience an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson, promo code Carson.
They're saying that Joe Biden has written a new book. But we know he's not capable, not that old senile crook. He can't even write his name, an auto pen was used because Sleepy Joe is always confused. Anonymously written, Joe Biden's book will be about the worst president in U.S. history. Real author will be unknown, you know it won't be Joe, because his brain...
It is a Rob Carson Show. Post FIFA World Cup. The United States hosted it. It was wildly successful. We're going to talk about this and a number of other things with our expert on all things Great Britain. She is Hillary Fordwich. She's a keynote speaker, a Newsmax and GBN contributor, and friend of this guy right here, Rob Carson. I'm pointing at me with both thumbs. Hillary Fordwich, how are you today?
Oh, that's quite the wonderful welcome, and we've had a wonderful World Cup, and I'm glad to be with you today, Rob. Thank you so much.
Let's just go ahead. We'll start with the lighter stuff. We'll talk with the World Cup. Obviously, neither of our teams won the World Cup. Presumably, if you're rooting for Great Britain, but overall, I think, and I have never really paid all that much attention to the World Cup. But how would you summarize this World Cup? I think America impressed people.
Well, yes, actually, Great Britain wasn't in it, but England was because it's by country. And
gotcha.
Yes, I was rooting. I was actually one of the lucky people that I said I'd be very happy if the America won or the England won, and even my backup was the Netherlands because I lived in Holland. My ex-husband was Dutch, and my children are half Dutch.
Lovely.
But I lost in all three counts. And what I would say, let's go with the really positive part. The positive part is there's an expression. Actually, it's an English expression, and it's really throughout Europe, which is, if you want to hate America, listen to the news. If you want to love America, go there.
Yeah.
And that's really been seen in this World Cup. And I think what it actually proves, Robin, is so important, and it's important for our listeners as well, which is don't listen to everything you hear in the media unless you're listening to the Rob Carson Show. It shows that people everywhere are people with the same sort of values. Forget the global elites. Forget, they say, one of the most profitable industries, of course, is war. Forget all the global tensions. It reminded me of what happened actually in World War I when the troops got out of the trenches. Remember that on Christmas Eve?
Yes.
And the English danced with the Germans and they sang Silent Night together.
Yes.
So to me, it was a way, well, number one, it was a way to bring people together. It was a way for the rest of the world to see what a truly great nation this is. And one of the things I've actually always had a problem with, a lot of Americans say, oh, we're number one, we're a great nation, but they don't go abroad to find out we really are a great nation. You need to go abroad and find out we really are a great nation, because a lot of Americans that don't love America should listen to those people that came here for the World Cup and what they experienced. They experienced such a welcome. They experienced the average person here leads such a better life than anyone does anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
They saw our wonderful stadiums. They saw our wonderful road system. They saw our infrastructure. They saw that things work here. There's a lot of places where other countries where things don't work as well. And they saw the generosity of spirit of the average, everyday American. That is what I think is a great takeaway.
Now, I heard people say, for instance, walking around neighborhoods and having people invite them to come hang on their porch, or having meals picked up when they were at a restaurant because they were, people here from a foreign land. How foreign is that compared to England and other European countries? Let's stick with European countries.
Well, you're very correct there. England is very different, of course. England isn't part of Europe, and it's very different. But I would say, and I've traveled extensively, like I said, I lived in Holland for 3 years, traveled extensively through Europe. It's a very different mentality, a very different way of doing things. And what I would say was the number one thing that we saw that people were shocked about was how even somebody like, I think I'll give a concrete example. There was a waitress in a restaurant when she heard that they were talking about being late for their flight or something. She got in the car and drove them to where they had to go. And I don't think that you would see something like that. I would call it a generosity of spirit that you don't always see in Europe. Now, I've had wonderful experiences traveling in Europe and being hosted in Europe.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is, and the biggest fact was the free refills.
Yes.
They couldn't get over that. That was something they couldn't get over. And then the other thing was also I think was rather wonderful was to see the appreciation for the American spirit of our national pride. That's something that I think, and maybe it's born out of the wars in Europe and different countries fighting, and they want the whole, unelected bureaucrats of the EU want it to be one Europe. It's very much sort of frowned upon to have nationalistic pride in Europe, whereas I think the biggest I saw was people being amazed Americans actually really do cry at the national anthem. We really do put our hands over our hearts. We really are proud of our nation. And then, last but not least, what you were saying about neighborhoods, people going through neighborhoods and seeing people flying American flags, and you don't see that in neighborhoods. And in fact, in England, of course, local governments were telling people not to fly the England flag, the Cross of St. George flag of England during the World Cup. That was despicable.
Well, they're doing the same thing here in the United States, and all of this is exactly the same, perpetrated on the world by the same people. Hillary, you know that this is, and I'm hoping we are beginning to see the dying throes of this movement around the world. It's odd because communism is being defeated in Central and South America. It's kind of growing here. I don't know how far this DSA movement is going to grow. I think we're going to put it out like a cigarette under the butt of our heels. But we are seeing the globalist open borders and all of that begin to be exposed and hopefully begin to fall. What are your thoughts?
Well, yes, we are. I think that you're seeing your average day person has risen up both in the UK, definitely in England, and here, where people don't want to be spending their tax dollars on giving free housing, free food, and benefits to people that haven't paid into our system and aren't part of our country. And I think that I will say that the world, I think, owes a great amount of gratitude to Donald Trump, President Trump, for putting his foot down, whereas I think if it wasn't for him, there aren't a lot of people that would have had the courage to have done what he's been doing. And I think people have seen that as a guidance for something that can be done in other countries. And I know certainly in England that people are sick and tired of the amount of migrants that are coming in and getting the free housing ahead of your regular average British English person.
I was looking at different groups of people and who were here, and there were many that I felt like my opinion I never had a poor opinion of them, but my opinion was elevated. One were the English people, although my lineage is from England. Thank you very much. I'm English, then Irish and German. But certainly my opinion of the English coming here and some of them almost weeping tears, having to go back to England, which was very sad. But also the Scots. I just think the Scots really, they just were outstanding. I really enjoyed their joy when they came here.
I think I would say the Scots, and I would add in there, Rob, the Norwegians.
Yes!
I think they all stole our hearts with their row.
Oh, the rowing!
The rowing. So there's a few takeaways that I took from it. Number one, I thought the World Cup was really wonderful in terms of race relations. When you saw from England, Jude Bellingham, he's got a mixed background, Irish, and his mother's Nigerian, Jamaican, but when you saw the 80,000 people singing "Hey Jude" and him standing there literally to see, I can't watch a grown man cry like that with tears of joy without kind of getting tearful. And he and Harry Kane embracing each other. But I also thought at the end of the game with England and France, because they played for the third place, when you saw the French and the English arm in arm and praying together, I thought that was a great role model for young people. I thought the Norwegians in defeat, the decency and the generosity of spirit they displayed, I wanted all young people to watch that. Now, however, I will say, I think the Argentinians, it's pretty unanimous, people have said, I believe they behaved despicably, and I think that was very bad. But I don't want it to go down as all Argentinians. I have an Argentinian friend, and he's one of the most well-mannered people that I know, so it's not all Argentinians. But if we look at the fan base, to your point, I will say, and I've been on air, you mentioned that I'm on GB News regularly, which I am, and when everybody was on air lamenting our loss, I said, but what we should be very proud of is the English fans, the American police departments in all the metropolitan cities where the English team played. The English fans, the fans of England, were so well behaved.
There was no hooliganism. There was no hooliganism, not one little bit. It was always good. And I loved hearing "Country Road, Take Me Home to the Place." I never thought I'd hear that song sung in a Scottish accent.
Oh, a Scottish accent, right? And I thought the Norwegians, when the Norwegians did their row on the Boston elevators,
unbelievable!
I thought that was
unbelievable.
That was really, really special. And I think what it showed Americans actually, I think we all average people learned a lot. I think Americans. My prediction is every sports event now you're going to see more singing and chanting because I think it captivated audience. We do things like in America, we do the wave and we do other things. But I think you're going to see more of that. I do know when the Commanders play, they still sing "Hail to the Redskins," which they're not supposed to do.
I don't even care. And you know what? At Chiefs games, they go, hey, and do the tomahawk shock. Coming up, Britain's new prime minister, dear God in heaven. And then also the Tate brothers extradited to England. Those two things coming up with Hillary Fordwich. Go to Twitter at Hillary Fordwich. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
when silence is not golden.
This is the Rob Carson Show. Joining us on the Newsmax hotline, Hillary Fordwich, Newsmax contributor, GBN contributor, public speaker, by the way, and outstanding individual, expert on all things Great Britain, among other things. Britain's new Prime Minister, Andy Burnham's, promises stronger public control of the stagnating economy. He's a socialist. I mean, my God, what the hell is Great Britain thinking?
Oh, gosh, Rob. Well, I'll tell you this. Every 45 minutes in the UK, a millionaire leaves. And in the 1970s, it was referred to in England, it was a big phenomenon referred to as the brain drain, where people were leaving in droves because anybody with a brain, lawyers, accountants, architects, engineers, because of the taxes. And remember, there were, big stars like some of the Beatles that didn't want to receive their Order of the British Empire because of the taxes they were paying. And what Andy Burnham actually declared the other day, he said, we're going to take this moment. He called it a circuit breaker for Britain. And he's actually said, bringing forward the biggest changes in the last 40 years, a new political model and a new economic model. New economic model, he means raising taxes. And we all know the more you tax something, the less you get of it. More people are going to leave. And who leaves? Those that can, and those with funds, those with the money. They're the ones that go.
Well, this is already happening in New York. This is already happening in Seattle. Seattle is doing, just going down in flames with this adult woman child as the mayor. And Zohran Mamdani is another man-child, spoiled, entitled academic, no life experience, no job, just suddenly deciding because what they learned in academia, which was a lie about socialism, somehow they're going to put a new spin on it. This is an old adage, and it's been done before. This guy is the seventh prime minister in a decade, for God's sake. He's never been a member of the parliament, and he was just kind of like what happened, I guess, with Kamala Harris to some degree, but maybe even worse, because no one had any choice with putting this man as the prime minister of Great Britain.
Actually, that's a very good analogy. Yes, it is not a democratic vote. And what's even interesting is that people say that the Labour government came into power with a national mandate. Actually, it was just a protest vote against the Conservatives. Conservatives, of course, in the UK being similar, on the right to Republicans, and Labour being similar to Democrats. So now going back to Andy Burnham, you're correct. He was just elected MP for Bakersfield he was the mayor of Manchester.
Yeah.
Now, as mayor of Manchester, I will say he did attract investment, and he is a self-described himself, he said it himself, the king of the north. So he was very popular, but he has not been elected into office. Now, there has to be another general election by, I believe it's November of 29, or it's definitely in 29. So he's got another potentially 3 years. But Nigel Farage, the head of the Reform Party, is calling for and wants to have a national election. And we will see how long he lasts, because the British public don't want someone in office in a democracy who wasn't elected, to your point.
I love it. Maybe this could usher in the possibility of an election where Nigel Farage becomes the prime minister, because that would be the antidote to, I think, everything that ills Great Britain at this point. I mean, honestly, it is just utterly. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's madness. What has happened to your country with regard to leadership is just madness, and King Charles is playing along with it, and he is as left as anyone. Talk about somebody who's the person who's never really had to make a living, etc. It is these are sad days. I'm hoping that eventually someone will wake up and they'll be able to do something to save the country. I don't know what you know about this. Have you ever seen this Andrew Tate guy, 39 years old? He's a big influencer, and I think he's a complete. Pardon me for my indelicate. He's an a-hole. I mean, an absolute awful human being. His brother, I guess, is Tristan, and he made the mistake of, I guess, coming here, and he is going to be extradited to Great Britain for, 7 counts of rape, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault occasionally. Anyway, he sounds like a real creep. What do you know about this, and what do you suppose is going to happen? He's going to be tried in British court?
Yes, I believe that's going to happen. They're both the brothers, Andrew and Tristan Tate. They both have dual citizenship, which enables them to be over here. They're likely they're going to fight their extradition to the UK. I know that their lawyers have already told U.S. magistrates that both of them were they're going to face rape and sex trafficking charges, and that's why they want them to be extradited. So, but the attorney for the brothers has said it's just, this is just slander and this is slanderous. But there have been numerous people that have come forward with this, and they've already been charged, I know, in the past with rape, bodily harm, and even human trafficking and prostitution. So it's really extremely egregious. And I say that both of their arrests are green-lighted. I know that.
Yeah. These two guys, these two guys, the thing that we've been told that masculinity is toxic, and he appeared to be some sort of champion for masculinity, but it's the wrong kind of masculinity. He's a disgusting human being. He's a selfish, self-centered, egotistical, arrogant jerk. He's not anything that you'd want a man to be. He may be muscled. He may have tattoos. He may have a private jet, but otherwise he's an insufferable piece of garbage.
Well, I would say yes. I have no problem when a man is what I consider to be a real man, which is a strong leader who provides for his family, who takes care of his family, who loves his wife and or his mother. They actually, there's an expression, and I would have had much less mistakes in life if I paid more attention to this. Look at how a man speaks about and treats his mother and how he treats wait staff, and it will tell you a lot about his character. I haven't read anything, and I don't know how these boys treated their mother, but I bet it wasn't very good from the way that they treat women. And I think, as I said, I don't find anything wrong with a strong man, but I link the two as strong and good man. I think a man should lead.
We have to run. I apologize. Thank you so much, Hillary Fordwich. Go to Twitter at Hillary Fordwich. Anywhere else they can find you real quick? Go ahead.
Yes, on LinkedIn, absolutely, under my name, Hillary Fordwich. Thank you for having me, Rob.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. She's a talkative one. She is a talkative one, but I like Hillary. She was the first person I saw here when I moved into the building last week, and I like her a lot. She's a really cool person. I went on not a date, we went on a walk. It was an exercise trip. She is a fitness fanatic and unbelievable dietary, very strict dietary person. But she's a really cool person. I like her a lot. She's an awesome person. Hello to DC 42. What's up? And Gladys Kravitz and Scott Davies and all of that, and Mickey Hastings, Marilyn Wizard, all you guys. Good to see you today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Brian Duffy, all of you guys. If you get the opportunity, I'm going to ask you just real quickly. I won't give you details, but if you'd say a prayer for me today, that would be great. Got some things going on. It's just been a very stressful couple of weeks, and a little prayer would be awesome. Just pray for my health and well-being, if you wouldn't mind. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I'll tell you, the last couple of weeks have been pretty trying. But things are really good. Things are very good, and they're going to get better. They are going to get better. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the show today. Sorry for the rough start. We had a little technical difficulties, but all that's going to turn around. It's kind of funny. This room was the hottest room in the building. And I put up these tiles on the walls. I did all the interior of this. And I got acoustic panels in here. And now it's too cold to be in here. Because it not only keeps cool in, it keeps heat out. And this room is like a refrigerator. What's the temperature now? It's 72 degrees. When I was in here last Monday, it was 96. I'm going to bet 220 here. Jimmy! Do-do-do-do-do-do. Come on. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Come on. Crosstown traffic. Okay. So, we wouldn't be celebrating 250 years as a country, and we wouldn't be the greatest engine of individual and economic liberty in the history of mankind if it weren't for a strong foundation set by the framers who were genius. And, of course, these idiot Democrat socialists want to turn it upside down, get rid of the Senate. It's not going to happen, kids. We're going to spank you, literally, figuratively, at the box office, and if we have to, legally. There you go. But Hamilton, for instance, built a financial foundation on the principle of sound, stable money, which our government has kind of screwed up since then. $1 was not worth as much. What is the foundation of your savings? Is it gold? Or is it something less stable? Maybe you should consider investing in gold. Birch Gold is a company that I choose. They've been helping Americans solidify their savings with gold for 15 years. 10 years ago, gold was $1,200 an ounce. It's over $4,000 now. It come down from January was $5,600, and now everybody's saying, oh, you'd better take advantage of it while it's down, because this is exactly the pattern that has happened before, down a little, and then just a gigantic rise in price. It's a good time to invest. Learn how gold fits into your portfolio by texting my name, Rob, to the number 989898. You'll receive a free, no-obligation info kit, A-plus rating from the BBB. And, of course, they have my money. They have my money. And I trust them with it. So text my name, Rob, to the number 989898. That's Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold. That's going to do it for the show today. Thanks for being with me here today. I appreciate you so much. The last few months have been just tumultuous with the move here into the Newsmax building, but we are here in the heart of Washington, D.C. I just got a note from Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House's staff. They say they're huge fans of the show, and that's just miraculous to me, considering where I come from, and you're here with me. God bless you, America's founder, Donald Trump. Our troops in Iran kicking butt, taking names until tomorrow. Do not catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.